These are the 5 advanced scores I suggest you study if you want to sharpen your skills and discover things that you may not even thought possible. Let's get started. Prelude to the Afternoon of Aon is such a unique, innovative piece of music by Claude Debussy. There's so much color and imagery that comes through in his dreamy composing and evocative orchestration. The harmony and orchestration, I think, give the listener the feeling of being outside in a warm summer afternoon, with the strings playing tremolandi sul tasto or over the fingerboard for those fluttery feelings, yet it's still warm. Check out this moment in the piece. After the main theme's been established by the solo flute, it comes back and is playing in front of the strings, playing over the fingerboards like I just mentioned, but with the clarinets to give it a sort of ghostly effect. I think it's really effective. By the way, if any of these scores seem out of reach for you, then check out my previous 2 videos on the best scores that you should study as an intermediate score reader or even as a beginner score reader. The Planets is an iconic suite by Gustav Holst, but there really is so much variety in here. It features a huge orchestra, but the entire suite goes through the whole gamut of styles, from grandiose to angry to light to mysterious to sweet. My favorites to look at are Neptune, Jupiter, and Venus, though Mars is very popular as well. And this, frankly, is the template for countless film scores. Seriously, if you haven't looked at this one from beginning to end, do yourself a favor and do it. Scheherazade is a ballet with music written by Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, and the version I recommend you look at is the concert suite written for orchestra. There's so much colorful writing and orchestration in this whole suite. And if you take a moment to look at the details, you can realize how simple everything you're hearing really is. This piece is a showcase of orchestral color and storytelling. What I love most about this score is the interplay between the woodwinds and the strings, especially in the third movement. The phrasing and articulation, of course, the combinations bring the whole narrative to life. The opening of that movement is strings only, which feels very appropriate. The violins, which are playing the melody, are instructed to play sul G, which means on the G string of the violin. The reason for that is the G string is a more powerful forward tone on the violin, and it gives the whole line a warm, chocolatey tone. Then the melody moves to the cellos, doubled by the oboe playing lower in its range, with our chords now being played by the woodwinds for a softer color change than from before. As the cellos get lower and out of the oboe's range, the English horn takes over to maintain that reedy quality. And I think that combination of timbres is really fitting for the setting that the story is in. I can just go through the entire score and imagine in my mind's ear all of the colorful writing that Rimsky-Korsakov displays in this great work. The Rite of Spring by Igor Stravinsky is one that I know you saw coming, but this really did change the course of Western classical music in the 20th century. This takes the color and orchestration from Scheherazade and just takes it even further. Check out The Dance of the Adolescents, which is after the introduction, and notice its focus on unique, complex polyrhythms that don't really step on each other because of how Stravinsky puts together different instruments. Stravinsky's use of irregular meters and syncopation creates a visceral experience as the lines flurry through each section of the orchestra. And he really utilizes his enormous orchestra to add to the chaos and that feeling of antiquity that he was going for when scoring the original ballet. This piece, again, is such a real showcase of color, and Stravinsky is so intentional about how he uses each instrument in the orchestra. If it's written in the score, there's a chance that what you see is going to be heard and isn't going to get lost in the textures. There are really a lot of colors to steal from the score. Do check it out. 5 Orchestral Pieces by Arnold Schoenberg is such a fascinating piece of work, and frankly inspired a lot of the other pieces that were mentioned in this list. This is an atonal work, which means that there's not a tonal center in any of the music in this piece. And a lot of what I do is very tonal, but I think even if this isn't your taste, you can still get a lot out of how Schoenberg puts together all of these lines in the orchestra and uses every other kind of technique aside from harmony to move forward and to make it interesting. It's instead like a blur of colors on a canvas full of texture and movement and timbres. It's also not symphonic in the sense that there's an architecture to it, just feelings. These pieces are almost like paintings that move along in dizzying ways. There's frankly still so much for me to discover in the score, but give it a shot and I'm sure that you'll be able to find something that you can apply to your own writing, even if this style is nowhere near what you write. Comment down below any scores that you think people should check out, and stay subscribed to this channel because there are going to be more videos on more scores you should check out in different categories. So until then, take care.